Hello everyone, William Oaks here. Today what I'm going to be doing is a first part of a series of developing a Google Trends tracker. This is something that we worked on for a client, and we're only going to be doing Google Trends here, but essentially what we did is we built an entire marketing intelligence platform for them using Google Trends, Reddit, YouTube, Google reviews, and a lot of that information is, they just put in a search term and it would kind of give them an idea of if that topic is trending based on Google Trends, Twitter, and I believe we did also LinkedIn, just to give them an idea of how a specific product or service was um, trending in the market. And then what we did is we would then use the same type of keyword and we would search Google specifically using search modifiers for problems that they were related to that keyword. So what we're able to do is we're able to figure out kind of a problem and a solution based on all that information. Um, and I'll probably go into the Reddit researcher in another video. I think there's been a few people that have built tools similar, but it's more of kind of giving a topic ideas, and it's not actually for doing market research based on a particular market. So I already have this built out, but I will show you how I got to this point. I think this is probably one of the best ways to build new solutions nowadays is just use something like Claude or Chat GPT and feed it a bunch of information that you particularly want, and then it should give you the data tables that you need to actually create a particular service or product. And as far as getting MVP out there, I think anybody can do it nowadays, specifically with Airtable and N8N. The first version we built for the market intelligence platform it was all built in Airtable. We proved that it worked, and then we took all that information and converted it into a ERP Next app. That way we have it a little bit more historical information, and it's connected to the tools that they're already using. Eventually, we'll probably release it as a product because it works really well. So what we did here is I'm actually just going to discard that. Um, Particularly when I'm working on a project like this, I like to use DataForSEO. They have a bunch of API endpoints from SERP information, Google, YouTube, Yahoo, are the ones that I mostly use. Probably being YouTube and Google are the ones that I primarily use. But you can also pull Google Trends information. They have a DataForSEO trends. Now, I think they started their DataForSEO trends because these related queries, I can't get them from the API. If you look at the responses, supposedly it's there. I can't get those responses. I've already put in a ticket with them, and I have not actually gotten a resolution to that ticket, other than, hey, we're looking into it. So what I ended up doing is I found another thing called Scrapeless, and they seem to be able to get all that information. I think it's mainly because they are specifically scraping. What I liked about their service is it's really cheap. I was planning on using a SERP API, but by the time I was all said and done, I was going to be on the $270 a month plan, specifically because we're using this for ourselves, for our products, and client products. Um, so it would have been pretty expensive. And this seemed to be really cost effective. And as you can see, I've barely used any of the credits thus far in the system. Granted, I've only probably made 100 queries to this thus far. But it's only 80 or 0.20% of is only gone out of the 100% of credits, and I got this for pretty much free for testing, which is really nice. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to actually pull their docs information, and I'm really hoping they don't put my API key in the docs like everybody else does. So essentially, the way I've been doing stuff is we will just kind of copy this information, put it in a new Google Sheet, and save it as a PDF. And I'll do the same exact thing for like this. I'll just go Control P, and I'll print the page as a PDF. And we're doing that so Claude or whatever tool we're using has background information specifically on how this API works. That way, when it's building out the tables for us, we actually get stuff that is hyper relevant for what we're doing. And then I will also go and I will create something like this, where I can specifically pull the responses from the tool. That way I can just copy and paste this into a Google Sheet as well. And I will just call this, DataForSEO Google Trends API response. And I'll do the same exact thing for the Scrapeless. I already have all these files on my computer, so I'm not really going to do it again. But that is kind of the process that we take. I also included a examples. I'm probably not actually going to use that one. It took me a little bit of maybe 10-15 minutes to get this type of result that I wanted. And I'll probably have to, do the same exact thing again. Probably won't go full bore in getting everything, but this is more of a idea of what you can do. All right, so we're going to copy this, the Google Trends Tracker. And essentially, all I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, I'm going to be building an Airtable application to track Google Trends. I will be using N8N workflows and DataForSEO API to pull the last 12 months of trending data. This section should include, and I'm just referencing the file that it's actually using. I don't necessarily know if you need to do that, but I'd rather be safe than sorry as far as having to spend a ton of time doing this. And I'm just telling it I want to use these 3 tables. And I broke this down from just looking at their API. The timeline, that's going to be a lot of information. So when we're representing it, we don't really want it all in one flat file. Specifically because that's going to get messy really quick when you're trying to do any type of analysis on it. So all we're going to do is we're going to just link the tables. We're going to do the same thing for regional data. And by the time we're all said and done, we're also going to pull the search volume for Google search to check to see how well that search term is doing in Google. And we'll probably also pull the clickstream information. I'm not positive if I'll do that yet or not. And if you wanted to get a little bit more fancy, you could also pull information directly from Reddit, YouTube comments, or for the other project, Google reviews. And then you just kind of normalize all that information. And when you have those JSON responses, it's very easy to tell something like Claude, hey, create me a normalized table for all of this information. And something like that would have taken probably at least a couple of hours to figure out before, where it only takes a couple of minutes. All right, so Google Trends table, we have our search query, our status, category, language, related queries, and it's saying link to another record, self-linking to Google Trends table, and I think this is pretty good. So what I'm just going to say is give me a example table with the fields in the first row. I think that should give us what we want. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to go to sheets.new. It's just really easy to put all this information into a Google Sheet and then import it into Airtable. Instead of, trying to, copy this information and then putting it into Airtable itself. It just gets you to a kind of MVP a lot faster. All right, so this looks fine. I'm gonna see if this will actually copy for us. It did not. So what we need to do is, I've noticed that it works probably 50-50% of the time if you can actually copy and paste that information. So we're going to go to Markdown to HTML. I'm just going to take this and we're going to grab this information. And there we go. And we're just going to call this Google Trends. Trends. All right, so the next one is our regional data trending table. All right, so we're going to pretty much do the same thing. Give me an example table of the fields. Filled in the first row. Now, one thing I'm going to specifically tell it is I want to get that trending data over the last 12 months, not to use a specific date, because the JSON, when you look at it, it's actually given that date. All this information is more relative when we're trying to make decisions versus when we're storing it for historical data. So give me the last 12 months of the timeline, and do not use fixed dates. Yeah, see, I don't know why it did it this way. I wanted it all vertical. Dates should be in the vertical table, so we spot the trend. Probably horizontal, actually. I don't want vertical. Kind of gave us what we wanted, but the dates need to be relative. Do not use a fixed date. We want them to be relative. That is my one gripe with Claude. It seems to not remember sometimes what you told it to do in the previous message. All right, I think that should be fine. I do like how it when I ran this the first time, it went with month -12, and I kind of like that a little bit more than what Claude gave me. But you know, it's something that you can fix later on, or you can just prompt it to do that for you. Because I believe probably what this is going to do is it's going to make the graph backwards. Because what we're probably going to do is we'll probably use something like quick charts, or maybe a markdown, or not a markdown, but a mermaid diagram to actually plot out that chart for us. And then we'll automatically, you know, save that image into Airtable so we can view the trending information. One of the reasons why we're using ERP Next is they have a BI intelligence tool that we can actually just chart all that automatically for us without having to, you know, create an image and viewing it. I'm not sure if we can actually do that in Airtable, but I imagine it's going to be a pain just to build that in Airtable specifically. And then we want to do our regional data. All right, so give me this table. Give me an example table based on the API response. For this, give me the fields in the first row. I am so glad I don't have to fix all the spelling. So probably what I want to do is I want all of the, okay, it's not going to let me do that, but essentially what I would prompt it to do is give me the search query and then give me all of the states on the first row. Obviously, we can't do that, so probably what I'll do is I'll just download this as CSV. I'm not even going to bother to do that. So what we can do is we'll just call this timeline. And we won't really use this for the next part of the project. We'll call this Google Trends. Director one. We'll just do that. I think that'll be fine. And from there, what we can do is then we just import this. So we'll create a new table, start from scratch. And we got purple this time. We will do a Google Sheets import. All right, and then we can just import both of these. And on this one, what we would end up doing is we don't really need the, probably what I'll do with the related queries is I would never have them listed like this. What I would do is every time it adds a new related query, I will actually just have it add the related query as a new search term. That way when we're doing this, we can then go and search for them again. And then what I would do is I would just have the related, or I'd have the parent query or parent query ID or something like that. That way it's still linked, but we're kind of linking to the same table for that information. And actually, I can show you what I mean by that with this Reddit researcher. I have the problems, but I also have the search terms. So we have our primary search term. And then we have our kind of child search terms. Or no, we have our parent search term, and then we have our child. And then they're just linked. And then we can just, run this through all these agents to pull information from Reddit and, kind of make decisions. And we'll just go back to our, we'll just go into this one. So in the next video, probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building some of the workflows that will give us the information that we want. I don't know if I'll do all of that on camera, but either way, I'll still give a workflow or overview of how each one works. I'll probably do a lot of it on camera. I noticed that a lot of people want that more than kind of workflow reviews. They kind of want people's thought processes, especially when they're learning how to use these tools. If you have anything that you think would make this tool better, let me know in the comments below. I won't probably implement everything, and I'm going to try to make this 3 or 4 videos, depending on how complicated it gets. Maybe I'll make it more, maybe I'll make it less. All right, thanks everyone.